What is going on, everybody, and welcome in to the Hockey Night Abroad Flyers pregame show. Tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers are back home for the last time. The last homestand before the Thanksgiving break, as they take on the Vegas Golden Knights in the first game, meeting up for the first time this season. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you as the Flyers, like always, has looked very well in the last few games, and it starts to begin a trend as they take on a Vegas Golden Knights team who are the best team in the Western Conference right now on the Pacific Division. But before we get into the key matchups of the game and the scratches and the injuries and scratches and who's trending up and trending down, let's get into what happened on Saturday as the Philadelphia Flyers took on the Chicago Blackhawks. As early on in the first period, the Flyers would get many chances on net, on the chance opportunities for Peter Mrazek, but the netminder was just standing tall once again as the Flyers would get absolutely great chances, and great chances they were in that first period. But later on in the 8-minute mark of the first period, as former Flyer alum, if you could say alum, or former Flyer minor league affiliate of the Philadelphia Phantoms at the time, Pat Maroon, would set up Lucas Reichel, and the Blackhawks will break the ice to give Chicago an early 1-0 lead, and it would stay that way for the next 20 minutes in the books. To the second period we go, and more of the same as the first period was for the Flyers, getting so many shots and opportunities on Peter Mrazek, but standing tall was the Blackhawks netminder, as it still remained 1-0 Chicago as we get closer and closer to the halfway point of the second period. And with Chicago will score again, as this time it was, like I mentioned, the first time setting up Lucas Reichel for the first goal, but this time Pat Maroon will score a goal himself, beating Kolosov to make it a 2-0 Chicago lead, and it will remain 2-0 after 40. To the third period, as the Flyers looking to try to get an answer on Peter Mrazek, and it looks to me that the big story in the third period, obviously I can imagine Jim Jackson and Scott Hartnell on the call, or even Tim Saunders, even Tom Fedoruk were asking about how can they put more pucks on net, and how can they basically despise Peter and get a response on Peter Mrazek, and they will finally get it. And approaching the midway point of the third period, the good guys will get a response from Sean Couturier, who missed an opportunity in the second period after a shot was high and wide, but will counter it on a great pass by Rasmus Ristolainen to cut the Blackhawks lead to 2-1, as it was getting closer, as they finally found the carom to beat the goaltender Peter Mrazek. As the midway point of regulation was coming and going for the Flyers, but the breaking point was the big story of the game of that third period, was how they can keep Mrazek on standing tall. The big story was that the Flyers found an answer, and this time it was Noah Cates on a wrister shot, beating Mrazek for the first time this season, as Noah Cates got a goal and would tie the game up at 2-2 apiece. As a good pass of play by Noah Cates to give a good pass of play by Rasmus Ristolainen set up Noah Cates, and it would stay that way after 60 minutes in the books. The big story in overtime was the big story that the Flyers always had all season long, is get the games into overtime, and they will do so once again on this Saturday afternoon to overtime, and the Flyers will be on the Pico power play, and Travis Konecny, the two Travises connecting alongside Sanheim and Konecny, set up the legendary himself, Matvei Michkov, sealing the deal for the Flyers, winning the game for the Flyers in overtime 3-2, and will take the 2 points out of it, setting the stage for tonight's game here in South Philadelphia. And if you didn't know that, that was the recap of the previous game. I check out every game all season long. But by the way, if you want to go any further, we are on social media tonight. We are on Facebook, Twitch, Hardcore Sports Network, and also Stream Punk Entertainment. So if you want to chime in and just say, let's go Flyers, I really would appreciate it. But that was the recap of the previous game, as the Flyers getting ready for this big matchup here tonight against a Vegas Golden Knights team, setting the stage here tonight on this Monday night before the holiday break. To the key matchups we go. The Flyers are one thing that for sure tonight for the Flyers will be pretty much the same as they had all of the season, as they have some great starts to the begin, the second and third period more precisely than that. But the big story of the game tonight is that Vegas coming off a couple games against the facing off and winning 2 out of 3 on the Ontario road trip, haven't missing a beat as coming to and also coming into an existence and not having a losing season after all in their 7th year in the NHL, and also going to a couple Stanley Cups along the way. The first year in 2017-18 in their inaugural season, and again in 2022-2023 this time as they captured their first Stanley Cup as a franchise. But for the Flyers, the stage is set tonight for the Orange and Black. As for everybody that's excited about this Flyers team tonight, it's basically more the same as they had all season long. They have been playing very, very great hockey. The one thing I'm really intrigued about more than anything is that they find ways to, even though the best teams that are incoming for the Flyers and especially approaching like the Florida Panthers and obviously like Carolina, not the Carolina game that happened a couple of nights ago as they lost 4-1, but that was just Carolina getting in the way. But more importantly, like that, the Flyers have really kept a close game out of it against very good teams. And I advise it'll be pretty much the same here tonight against a very good Vegas team, like I mentioned, who are just coming off like 3 years ago capturing their first Stanley Cup as a franchise. All right, let's go into who is trending up and who is trending down on this, as the Flyers looking to try to get back on top with some good observations and positivity along the way. For me, who's trending up, it's a good sign to have that John Tortorella has made really good shifts on the 4 lines, and the 6 defenseman pairing has been very, very key for the Flyers. For me, I advise the same here tonight against Vegas. I think they're going to play every shift like they want to earn their second shift and their third shift and make a play, kind of like what they had back in the day in that early 2010 era when Peter Laviolette made sure that the Flyers earned every shift at the time and also played with a little bit of more jam, which, by the way, the Flyers will be playing Laviolette and the New York Rangers the day after Thanksgiving. For who's trending down, well, there's not a lot of things that are trending down for Vegas, and there's not a lot of things that are happening that are trending down for the Flyers side of things. But who's trending down that you got to keep an eye on tonight for the Flyers? You have to keep an eye on 2 of these players on the forward for Vegas. Obviously, former Buffalo Sabre Jack Eichel, who is basically on a tear right now, leading the lead with 25 assists this season and has the lead with 25 points in the season. And the scoring title and the scoring for Vegas along the way, that will be Ivan Barbashev, who has 9 goals this season. And also the same thing for Eichel and Barbashev. They both lead the lead with 25 points for Vegas. For me, that's going to be the big key tonight for who's going to be trending down for the Flyers tonight. So if you can keep control of Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev, and even like they don't even have like a Jonathan Marchessault anymore. They lost Doc Martinez to Chicago. Obviously, we seen him a couple days ago. And the one thing I really want to keep a close factor in this game tonight is that if they could find a way to put more pucks on net and do whatever they can to keep everything in control and do whatever they can to make sure everything works along the way. So for me, that's going to be the big key who's going to be trending down tonight for the Flyers. Just make sure you don't get more pucks on. You get more pucks on net and do whatever you can to forecheck Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev along the way. All right, let's check out who's not inactive tonight for the Orange and Black for the injuries and scratches. The usual for the Flyers, but please forgive me. I had a little bit of an omission, if you know what I mean, that a couple days ago that we had Cam York back in the lineup for the Orange and Black, along with Emil Andre. More the same here tonight for the Flyers. Sam Ersson in goal tonight for the Orange and Black. And Sam Ersson is not in the lineup tonight. Sam Ersson out again with that lower body injury. And along with Jamie Drysdale still suffering from that upper body injury that should be the big key here tonight for the Flyers. But the good news is that the defensemen like Travis Sanheim and along the way, Emil Andre back in the lineup and even seeing Cam York back on Saturday was a big step forward for the Orange and Black. As for the scratches, the three scratches for the game tonight are healthy scratches. That is Nick Delorier, Nick Seeler, and a surprise, Yegor Zamula sent it out tonight for the Flyers. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know why Nick Seeler is a scratch tonight, but I think he's been nursing an injury still. And Yegor Zamula is probably he is a healthy scratch tonight, so we won't see number 5 on the defenseman pair tonight along with Nick Seeler. And those are your injuries and scratches for this game here tonight, as the Flyers are going to try to make it 2 straight, and then they go off to see Steven Stamkos and the Nashville Predators. But before we go any further, let's check out the starting goaltender matchup tonight for the Flyers. In goal tonight, once again for the Orange and Black, it will be Ivan Fedotov, who's back in goal tonight after sitting out on Saturday afternoon against the Blackhawks, where Alexei Kolosov got his first win of the season. He is 3-4-0 this season. Is Fedotov and has a 3.69 goals against average. And for the Golden Knights, it will be Adin Hill in goal tonight for Vegas, who is 9-4-1 this season with a 2.9 goals against average, as the Flyers are going to try to get some answers tonight against Vegas. And I think the last time the Flyers played Vegas, I think they won here in South Philly in overtime. That was around last year, around this time back in 2023. All right, let's check out our predictions before we go. Like I said, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitch, we're on YouTube. Check it out on the Hardcore Sports Network and also the Stream Punk Entertainment Network. For my predictions tonight, this is going to be a little bit easier said than done. I would say that the Flyers will win tonight, and I believe that will be the case after a good win on Saturday night against Chicago. I really believe that was a very good boost here for the Orange and Black to get off to a really good start here tonight. Getting a good start on shots on goal is a big, big key for the Orange and Black to keep that going, especially against a very good Vegas Golden Knight team, and more precisely, anything like that. That will be the biggest key here tonight. So for me, I say the Flyers have a chance to win the game, and I think they'll find it tonight, and I think Vegas will go home. I don't know if Vegas is this is the last game of the road trip for Vegas, but like I said, there were 2 and 3 on that Ontario road trip, and now they will look to move one step further tonight as the Flyers, and maybe Vegas will probably move one step back, even though they're in first place in the Pacific Division, right behind the Calgary Flames, and probably one of those teams that might be a odds-on favorite of being in the Stanley Cup this year for the 3rd time in the last 10 years. But that will wrap up the Flyers pregame show, the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. Remember to stay tuned after the game for the Stream Punk Entertainment third line John postgame show with Pat Bernard, and I believe it's Bob Harnett immediately after the game goes final. Will be Wednesday night as the Flyers will be heading up to Nashville to take on the Nashville Predators for the first time this season, as that will be Steven Stamkos's. Or even I want to say something about Stamkos real quick before I go. That's been a real shock to me to see Nashville been struggling that much, but that will be the next game. The Flyers will be in Smashville that night at Bridgestone Arena to take on Steven Stamkos and the Nashville Predators. But until then, like I said, thanks again for joining me tonight, everybody. If you wanted to tune in, by all means. But like I said, I will be back on Wednesday night, and I'll be back again on Black Friday when the Flyers are back home to take on the New York Rangers as well. Until then, thanks a lot for joining me tonight, and this has been the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. I'm James Scorza here saying so long from here, and until then, we'll catch you guys next time.